Yo, let's talk about Dune. I was in the beta weekend event over the weekend, so I have a lot of thoughts to share about that. If you don't know me or you're not one of my friends, this is my personal channel. I don't really care about views or anything here, so don't expect any fancy editing or anything like that. I will be brutally honest. Well, maybe not brutally. Try not to be brutal. I am honest here because I don't really care what people think. Just gonna give you my opinion on stuff. So anyways, too long, didn't read version. Let me give you that first for people who just want to know. I'm just gonna play some background video here. I'm just streaming one of my highlights from Twitch. Tried to download the video, but it's saying download failed. Whatever, it's ghetto. Here's the too long, didn't read version of my thoughts. So basically, like, who's gonna play this game? Because it's a survival game. We all know how that goes. People are getting sick of survival games. I'm not getting sick of survival games. I love survival games. Open world, survival, online. I love it. Can't get enough of it. But I know a lot of people are sick of these games. They don't want them anymore. So who's gonna play this game? It's a niche game category. Number two, it's built on the Conan Exiles framework. They're gonna be directly competing with Conan Exiles. I'm not saying engine because that's not the same. Like Conan Exiles is built on a game engine, but it's built on the framework. Like you can tell, kind of feels just like a really big Conan Exiles overhaul if you played that game before. So they're going to be competing with Conan Exile with their own player base for Conan Exiles, because why would you play both? I wouldn't imagine somebody wanting to play both of these games at the same time. And like if we look at, there's the Steam charts. The Steam charts pulled up. So here's the Steam charts. If you look at the past, let's go past year for Conan Exiles. We topped out at 21,000 players in the past year. And that was probably for like a free weekend or a big sale event or something. And that's not terrible, right? I think that's like top 100 games on Steam. But like you're going to be dividing that audience, which is stupid, unless they're planning on sunsetting Conan Exiles and they want people to move to Dune, which is, people aren't going to be happy because of the next couple of points. There's no private servers. The most that I've seen is that they said that they will be exploring the idea. I don't know if you're into survival games or not, but private servers are crucial for survival games. There are some survival games out there that are doing well without private servers, not this specific type of survival game. And then number four, no plans for modding. This genre, this niche really needs modding. That is like one of the, let's see, how can I phrase this? Modding is one of the main attractions to this niche of online open world survival games, is the ability to learn the base game, have some fun with that, okay? And then you go and you look at private servers, you find your flavor of modding, of mods and stuff, and then you select your community, right? It's huge. And I would say that's probably only half the players. The other half of the players in this niche, they just want to pop up their own servers through a server renting website and put their own mods in there to play with just their small group of friends. Without that, I don't know how this is going to work. You could throw in the player base that might come from Dune fans that are giving this type of game, this survival game, a go because they like the Dune lore. Okay, I don't foresee that being a lot of people. Who knows? Maybe they'll have a big audience there. But I just don't understand this no private servers, no modding thing. It just it blows my mind. Like I don't understand why they're doing this. These four things, like I can't foresee this game maintaining a healthy player base past the hype train. And the hype train is huge, right? You look up Dune and it's nothing but outstanding reviews and stuff from all the media outlets and stuff. They've done a huge number on the hype train, how much budget that they've spent on the hype train. I hope not a lot. That's my main concerns. I liked the game. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it kind of just made me want to play Conan Exiles, to be honest with you. But I'm also not like a huge fan of Dune. I'm not like a huge fan of Conan either, but Conan kind of, that lore kind of vibes with me a little better than Dune. Like there's a lot of things in Dune where I'm like, this thing feels better in Conan, or hey, if this was Conan, I could be capturing these people or something, you know, like features and stuff. That's my 2 cents. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope it's successful. I hope it's great. And I hope it ends up being a lot more fun. And again, like, I just want to reiterate, like, I did have fun, but not as much fun as I've had in other games in this niche. And I can foresee a lot of people right now in 2025 not wanting to play this if they're trying to capture more players beyond their Conan audience. I don't think they're going to get many past the hype train. That is, I think they're going to have a huge number of people playing on release because of the hype train, and I can foresee like 90% of them dropping off. Maybe 80 to 90% of people are going to drop off after the first month or two. But hey, if they make their money back, then plus some, then that's a success. But I just don't understand why they're shooting themselves in the foot. So on to the like actual review. Character creation is decent. I got some footage of me playing the doing the character creation here. Played like 4 hours on Saturday streaming. Sunday night I dug into it and I wasn't streaming. I had my lights off and was just playing for like, geez, I don't even know how long I played for. 6 hours or so, and got through like I want to say most, if not 75% of the beta content. Anyways, character creation is decent. It looks good. They got a fair amount of choices for what I would expect from a new game, especially like a game this hype. I have seen character creators better, as a matter of fact, in Conan with mods. Like some of the most popular mods for Conan expand your character creation options like tenfold. That's like another thing that is just like, it's a no-brainer to me. Like, why would you not incorporate that? Or why would you not incorporate that character creation that's already been done in a mod in a game that this game's built on? Or at least like plan on giving the option for modders to do that. Like, why are you? I don't know. Still baffled. Number two, graphics and aesthetics are okay. It looks good. The game looks good. I want to say it's the best looking game I've ever seen. Not by a long shot. I just got done playing Death Stranding, and I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077 right now. And those games both look better. They're older games, but again, this is a smaller studio, so it's okay. Like, I really got nothing bad to say about it. I was running on medium settings on my 2K monitor, around 100 FPS, with the view distance on ultra, because I always like the view distance to be as high as possible. That could also be like high, possibly high settings with only high view distance. I was getting around 100 FPS, 70 FPS when I was streaming. Oh, and the big caveat here is that was with DLSS and frame gen generation enabled, which I know a lot of people hate the way that frame generation makes the game look and feel, but I will say I know what you're talking about, and it doesn't feel terrible in this game. I don't know if they're using a newer technology. I'm assuming they're using a newer technology where frame generation is starting to not look as bad. And I also set the resolution to 100% because I think by default it was only 80% with the DLSS settings on performance, not even best quality. And it didn't look terrible. And that is, so I'm on a Ryzen 7 7700X and a RTX 4070. So that's a little higher than mid-tier. It's not flagship. It's like a $1,500 PC, although you could build arguably a much faster PC for $1,500 right now. I would bet. It's kind of hard to say because like I think the newer generation, like the 5070 is cheaper than the 4070, and it's like 30% faster. So I would say I'm playing on like $1,000 PC if parts prices made sense, but they don't. So your best bet would be spending like $1,500 and building a PC that's going to be like 20 to 30% faster than mine. But again, because I had to use DLSS and frame gen, you're kind of shit out of luck if you have an older series card. I know there's some like modding that you can do, not game modding, but there's some things that third-party stuff that you can install to kind of get DLSS to work on older graphics cards. I don't really know too much about that, but you definitely want a 4000 series RTX. GUI, the GUI's okay. There's definitely room for improvement. It was a little awkward, but that might go away as if I played for more than a couple days. They have done a good job because this game is designed to be played on controller or keyboard and mouse. They did a good job at making that not feel one-sided. Like, I hate when games are obviously targeted at consoles, or they're released on consoles first and then ported over to PC, and they don't spend enough time making the GUI feel good for keyboard and mouse. And so there's like way too many radio menus and shit, and like there's way too many like joystick pressure sensitive things that they didn't give options to handle it for keyboard and mouse correctly. This doesn't feel like that. They did a good job there. But that being said, they are missing, like with inventory management, I can't control click and shift click to move things around. Like I have to like hover over stuff and hit E. It's really annoying. But so room for improvement, but it's okay. Nothing bad to say about it. Number 4, the survival. The survival element feels good. Not only do you have to pay attention to your hydration, but there's 3 levels of hydration. Let me get you guys some actual gameplay on here. So here's me. I just got ate by the sandwormy. When you cross across the open sands, you have this little vibration meter that comes up. It goes all red like that in the middle. If you can see that, that means that it's tracking you. And I was kind of toying around to see if I can use my abilities or if I can dodge out of the way, but no, it's pretty bad. And you can kind of sneak across the sands. I wasn't very successful with that, but yeah. And you pretty much have to do it at nighttime, because if you try to do it during the daytime, especially if you're trying to be sneaky, the sun exposure will kill you, because the sun's so strong on the planet, the radiation, whatever. I'm not too to Dune lore. I don't know if there's more to it than the sun just being really strong. Hydration levels. There's 3 levels of hydration. If you drop under the first level, or if you run out of hydration, then you lose health and you die pretty quickly. And you get a negative bonus, I think, if you're not at the first hydration level, which you can get at pretty easily by, they have like these dew leaves everywhere, which doesn't really make sense if it's such a hot planet that I can go collect dew at any time from these patches. It's kind of weird, but whatever. And then you get bonuses to your stamina and stuff at the different higher levels of hydration, which is really cool. You can get hydration by taking blood from other people, other enemies, maybe even other players, I'm not sure. And you can straight up drink the blood, or you can process it into water, and then you also get to make a still suit, and the still suit kind of will recycle some of your water. I think the lore reasons is like your sweat and pee. Hit F, and you have like a separate little meter that shows how much your still suit has been recycling. And so it basically prolongs your water by like 50%, maybe more. I'm not sure. So that's really cool. And the still suit doesn't have much armor on it, at least the one that you can make in the beta. It doesn't have like a lot of armor on it. And you can make armor. There's light armor and heavy armor, and I'm not sure if there's medium armor, but I did see light armor and heavy armor. And the still suit is less armor than the light armor that you can make. So there's trade-offs. And the still suit gives some sun protection, and the light armor does not. You know, there's some depth there that I like. But yeah, so you have hydration, sun, and the Dune worm. Oh, and the Dune worm straight up eats any equipment that you were carrying and wearing. The Dune worm is very punishing, which I like. It's right up my alley. I like that. If you die from combat or being dehydrated, it respawns you with the gear that you're wearing, and you have to go back to your body to get the stuff you were carrying, which is kind of standard. I personally like a system that also punishes you in an additional way, obtaining a little bit of like an experience penalty that you have to work through, or giving you some sort of resurrection sickness or something on top of that is what I prefer. Having the Dune worm just eat all of your equipment and everything you're carrying without any way to get it back. Having that on top of this regular death penalty is enough for me. I think it works. It's right up my alley. I've seen a lot of people complaining about the Dune worm eating your gear. If I had to make a prediction, they're going to change it because, like I said, this is such a niche genre, and they're bringing in, with all this hype train that they've generated, they're bringing in so many people outside of this niche that are not going to enjoy this niche genre, and they're all going to complain. So if they want to try to keep any of those players, they're going to have to probably make some changes, and they're probably going to change how punishing the Dune worm is, or at least make it easier to not get eaten by the Dune worm or something. I'm going to make that prediction right now. Combat is decent, lots of abilities. Not sure how PvP will go. So they do have like 5 classes basically, and each class has 3 little skill trees that I could definitely see them building upon in the future with content. They have the option to multi-class. You can do like a quest chain to kind of gain access to multi-quest. What I really like about the skill trees is you can't just put a bunch of points into the abilities right off the bat. You have to do quests, go and find people, your specific trainers and stuff, in order to put like more than 1 point in said ability. Like ability can be 1 out of 3, but it won't let you, it'll be locked until you do certain things to get it above 1. Until then you can go further down the tree, but you can't get more than 1 point in things. So it gives progression to building your talent tree, your build. It gives progression to making your build other than just leveling up and getting points, which is cool. I like that. But yeah, with all of the abilities, there's going to most likely be a ton of PvP balancing to be done. Like with the dash ability that you get really early with my class that I chose, which was the Benny Jelly. I don't know how to pronounce it. But basically I chose the class that has the voice. I get a dash ability that makes me dash really far, really fast. And then I have the voice ability, which is kind of like a CC. I can make people like come towards me or go away from me or stop. PvP is going to be like, I have no idea how PvP is going to go on a massive scale because I didn't get into any big PvP type action in the beta. I don't even know if it's possible in the beta weekend, but that is going to be interesting. Okay, so point 6, questing and NPCs, not good. The questing is boring. There's only basically like 3 or 4 like main types of resources, if that makes any sense, that you kind of see everywhere. The quests are like gather 100 of these. Go and get and retrieve this item. There's like dungeons. I'm not sure, they're not instanced, but they're kind of set up the same way that Conan Exiles are. There's dungeons that you can do and it's in the same world as everybody else. You don't go into a separate world when you go to do your dungeon. It also has the same problems that Conan Exiles has with that. The first dungeon I went to do, it was already cleared out. Nothing had respawned yet. So I just explored the dungeon and opened all the chests. I think they are instancing chests because I didn't encounter a single chest that had not been looted yet, even though there's tons of players. Not tons, but even on my server, but even though I seen a bunch of players running around, every chest that I found had stuff in it. So I think they're doing instanced chests. And case in point, the dungeon that I went down into was cleared out, but I went around and opened all the chests for myself, like they were being opened for the first time. Then I got to the end of the dungeon and the guy was sitting there waiting for the boss respawn. That was the only big bug that I encountered. We got trapped in there. It had a mechanic where it locks the door behind you, and it's kind of like you can't run away until you kill the boss, but the boss wasn't respawning. And I was like, oh, guess I'm trapped here with you. We both waited around for like a half hour and then we both just left the game. Like I logged back in like an hour or 2 later and the guy was there for me to kill. So that's clearly like a bug that they need to work on. But we're talking about the same people who do Conan Exiles. And we know how many bugs like that exist in Conan Exiles. Some of them have been there for literally 10 years, however long the game has been out, 8 years. Some bugs they've never finished. Some bugs they do fix, but then the next time they drop a big update, it breaks other things and introduces new bugs that take them literally like 6 months to fix. And again, that game rides on the modding community because the modding community will usually fix those bugs. Because they won't, but things like respawn and stuff like that. Like I think the last time that I was really big into Conan Exiles, they had introduced a bug with the last major patch. The fall damage multiplier was the PvP friendly fire damage multiplier somehow got crossed with the fall damage multiplier. Is probably still in the game. They probably still haven't fixed it. If you want to be able to fight, because there's no dueling system, so if you want to be able to fight with your friends and stuff, you have to have PvP enabled. But when you enable PvP, it's really hard to fight together because there's no like partying system. And even if you download a party system mod, they still can't turn off the ability to hurt each other. In order to kind of cope with that, you kind of put like friendly fire damage reduced by 50%, like set the multiplier to 0.5 or whatever. So you can still accidentally hit each other when you're fighting together, you know, PvE bosses. You can still kind of hurt each other, but you won't one-shot your friend. So you still have to be strategic about how you fight together. But they got those values crossed with fall damage. So no matter what you put in to the friendly fire multiplier, it's still 100% damage to other players. But instead, whatever you set that multiplier to reduces your fall damage that you take. And it's not vice versa. I don't think there's a way to edit your fall damage multiplier, because that is probably the friendly fire multiplier. The last time I was playing, that bug had been in the game for months, and everybody was just kind of like, oh yeah, it's a bug, no way to fix it. What I'm trying to say is that's the people who are working on this game. So this bug that I encountered with the boss not respawning in the dungeon is probably going to be there when the game launches. I would be surprised if they fix it. It'd be a nice surprise. Like I said, I want it to be successful. I want them to do good, but they have a track record, if that makes any sense. But anyways, that's what I got to say. Overall, the game was fun, but I'm not going to play it on launch. It's not that fun. It's not that great. The building system is okay. The survival system is pretty good. The questing is kind of lame. There's a lot of things like the climbing. The climbing system is like it is in Conan, but it doesn't feel as good. Like in Conan, if you run and jump on something, onto a wall, and you grab onto it, you like slide down. You have like this sliding animation that's really cool, and it adds a little layer of depth. You can't just run and Spider-Man the things. You kind of slide trying to find your grip. Like, they didn't put that in the game. I don't know why. You're like Spider-Man. Like, I kind of wish I was recording when I was playing Sunday night. There was this point where I accidentally fell really high up. I was trying to hold space to catch on to a wall, but there was no walls close enough because it was like the way that the cliff was. And I was like, oh, I'm super dead. Like, God damn it, I'm super dead. And I hit the ground and I didn't die and didn't take any damage. I was like, what the heck? And I looked, and I had fell where there was a little tiny rock, maybe 6 foot high, right? And because I was holding space, I latched onto the side of that rock instead of hitting the ground and took 0 fall damage. And it's like, you can't do that in Conan. So it's like they have the climbing system from Conan, obviously, because it's built on the Conan framework, but it's worse, which is confusing, to say the least. Don't know why they would take something and make it worse when they already have the code for it. Like, I don't understand that part. Unless there is something, unless they had to redo that from scratch for whatever reason, and they can't get it as good as they did in Conan. I don't know. There's lots of little questions like that I have with this game. But I hope it does well. I'll be following it for sure. Like most games nowadays in the past decade, I'm probably going to wait a couple months until it has a lot of bug fixes and stuff and things addressed, because games nowadays don't launch done, and that's our fault. I say it's our fault because we give them money. We buy things not done again and again and again. And every time we just say, well, I thought it was going to be done. Can't believe they didn't have it done. And it's like, this happens every time. And we still give them money. So all that tells them is that it's fine. That's all it does. So the fact that we keep buying games when they're not finished, that's our fault. That's our fault that's how the game industry is. That's all I got to say. I give it a 6 out of 10. We'll be keeping my eyes on it. Not sure if I'm going to play it. I have lots of other things that I want to play first. Didn't impress me enough. That's all. Bye. Say bye, Mary. 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 Look at the camera, Mary. Bye.